Alecia Garlock, and she's with Friends of Migratory Birds, and she's going to give you an update on what's been going on with the egrets and the noise pollution that has been going on in order to move the egrets from their rookery to other parts of Brackenridge.
Hi, my name is Alecia Garlock, and they call me the Bird Lady because I've watched these birds for the last 5 years. So, I don't know if you're aware of it, but we're in the midst of a 6th mass extinction of biodiversity. We are losing wildlife around the world at ridiculous numbers, and it's caused by humans. So here at Brackenridge, the city's plans are to displace the birds from all city parks. So that's 25 square miles of parkland. But they don't know where they'll go. But the birds have been subjected to park workers banging 2x4s, which is not only a hazard to them, but it is a health hazard to humans. And they have the USDA Wildlife Services was hired. That is an agency that kills wildlife. But they have told us all along that it would be humane and non-lethal, but you can't hire an agency that kills wildlife and say it's going to be humane. But the birds originally were on that side of the river. The trees they want to cut down so the birds won't nest. Well, the birds are now all over there. They're protected while they're nesting. They have babies. But the city doesn't like the one species, which are cattle egrets, but they are beneficial. They eat bugs off cattle. But within that group are 3 species that are listed by the state as the species of greatest conservation need. The state gets federal funding mandated by Congress to protect these species so that they don't become threatened or endangered where it's more costly. So this inconvenience, the poop, goes away, but we help these species that need conservation so that 20, 30 years from now, they'll still be alive. The little blue herons that nest here were listed as a species of high concern in 2021 for the declining population, meaning if their numbers keep falling, they're going to become threatened or endangered. So San Antonio has an opportunity to protect these species going forward. And it's a fight. People aren't aware of the story. They come from Mexico, Central, South America. They have their babies and then they leave. Sadly, the mortality rate is 70%. And climate change is drying up water sources. If you haven't heard the news about water drying up along the Rio Grande in other states, and it's just where we're headed. But these birds need our help, and by putting up with the inconvenience, we help them stay alive for the future. If this is not affecting just their immediate future, but their, their generations to come. So if you want to know more, come out and talk to me afterwards. I'll share the story of the birds, but it's up to us to protect our species going forward. And we shouldn't have to put up with park workers banging 2x4s in a city park and the USDA shooting explosives in a park full of people to try to displace these birds. They have as much right to be here as we do. Thank you.
Some of the assaults on the birds that are being done by our Parks Department, and the violation of the OSHA sound. I mean, the decibel level is at 125, which that's way beyond what is acceptable.
So the next thing we're going to play, it's actually, people think this is religious music. It is actually not. It's Sheep May Safely Graze. And the gist of it is, Bach wrote it as an homage to the emperor who ruled so wisely that even the sheep could safely graze. And I want to suggest that we need a leadership where trees may safely grow and birds may safely roost.
Thank you. I'm going to introduce Matilda Torres. Yes. And she's going to be giving us the creation story. And as you know, our city and this area is rich with the indigenous and prehistoric culture. And she is going to give us the creation story that has to do with the Blue Hole. And the Blue Hole is located on the Incarnate Word grounds. So thank you.
Whenever you have time, then you
Alicia, you could just there.
Okay. Hello, my name is Matilda Torres, and I'm here as an indigenous to this land. So I like to speak also on behalf of my two sons, Sebastian and Jose Daniel Romero. His dad was the chief of the Lipan Band of Texas, Lipan Apache Band of Texas, who just happened to cross over about a month and a half ago. So this is to his ancestors, and this was a place for them as well. So I'd like to share the creation story. And according to the Payaya creation story, is that the water bird flew into the Blue Hole, and it encountered the Blue Panther. When it encountered the Blue Panther roared, and so the water bird flew out of the Blue Hole, and from its tail feathers, droplets of water is what fell onto the region, and that's how life came to be. So when we are looking at the Blue Hole right here from north to south, this is the Blue Hole. This is a star in the sky, Phegda. The shape of the river from north to south to Anastasia is a constellation in the sky of Eridanus. And your double-crested cormorant, the water bird that flew into the Blue Hole, is a constellation of Phoenix. So that is part of the cosmology of how our people saw what we have right here, the birthplace of San Antonio. Yanawana, spirit waters, as we know as well. So that story continues to be told on winter solstice, when those two rivers, the celestial river and the terrestrial river, meet end to end. And that's how we honor our ancestors on that day. So the trees are the axis mundis is a symbol representing the center of the world, where heaven, sky connects with earth. 2 years ago in 2019, the lungs of the earth were on fire. What is the first thing that happened after that? It was a pandemic. That was a message of Mother Earth. So what we have here is the lungs of our city, and that's about to be destroyed as well. We must protect that. That's what the trees are here for. They continue to tell that story. Those birds continue to tell that story. They continue to travel on those ancient routes that we know as El Camino Real. And they continue to nest here and create life. That's why they nest here. That story for us is no longer visible to us. What's visible to us is Easter. What's visible to us is the resurrection of Jesus, or religion, whatever religion you practice. But those birds continue to tell that story here. You know, not only there, but it's also depicted on a 2,000-year-old rock art. The white shaman inside the Whitty. So that ancient site is right here. It's on that mural. You know, so this star in the sky connects to other 3 springs, which is New Braunfels, San Marcos, and Austin. That is part of the project for the Spring Alliance project. They're using that route as well, and this is what connects here throughout within our city, right at Brackenridge Park. So I'd like to share that with you. That story is for all of us. It's telling the story of this region, of this land, and it continues to be here for us. It's been here longer than us. You know, everything tells a story. This river, the birds, the trees, is the life, the death, and the afterlife. Thank you.
We'll be with you in just a moment.